Hey, I'm Deidre Detterman, host of the Do It My Way podcast, where we empower women business owners and CEOs to do business on their terms with no regrets, hesitation, or fear. I'm obsessed with all things marketing. I started my career in television, and I remember sitting in countless meetings, listening to executives talk about things that needed to change, but they never did. I was always thinking, what if we did it my way? Once I became an entrepreneur and I started living life on my terms, working the hours I want to work, making the money I want to make, I started to feel success. I was finally in control of my destiny. I hope you will join me on this journey discovering how you can do it your way. You're not going to want to miss my next guest, TJ Woodberry. She built a $36 million business in her 20s and now has one of the hottest spas and salons in Tulsa. Don't miss it. Well, TJ, I'm so glad to have you here today. I know we met through EO, which has been an awesome organization. And I want to dive in and know more about you because you're just one of those people, every time you walk in the room, you're just all this energy and just someone that people want to be around.
Oh, thanks.
So, okay, so you started super young as an entrepreneur. You're a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So tell me, in your teens, what did you start doing to start making money?
I'm one of five. I am a middle child, very much through and through. That's kind of like core of my identity. So I'm one of five, and my parents worked 2 full-time jobs. And so anything that I wanted, I kind of had to go out and get it myself. There was no allowances in my family. So started like laying tile with my dad when I was 12, painting curbs. You know how you have like the little number blocks on curbs? Like I had one of those little businesses from 12 to 15, painting curbs, raking leaves with my brother, just trying to earn lunch money so I could buy some new Levi's.
That's right.
Yeah. And so, just kind of got started early.
So it taught you early on, like the power of hard work, get what you want. You don't have to wait on anybody else. You're independent.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your parents loved seeing that work ethic in you. You saw it from them. Mm-hmm. Do you see that in your daughter now?
Oh my God. My daughter's living her like soft life era. Like she, and I tried to avoid this at all costs. Like I don't think I spoiled her, but she is like very relaxed. She's like, she doesn't really care to work super hard. She does get like really engaged when she's passionate about something, but she's in the house.
Well, that's funny because my kids, I have a 19-year-old, he'll be 20 on Saturday, and then a 21-year-old. Mm-hmm. And so talk about, very comfortable, very relaxed. That's a great word for it. And my husband and my daughter's graduating college in May. And so we're just like, okay, in May, it's over. Mm-hmm. Like the party's over. So cut off. I mean, not cut off from the sense, you can sleep at my house and you don't have to pay bills and you can eat in my house, but all that extra stuff that you want to do and the clothes and the this and the that and going on a trip or whatever, it's on you.
No more Cash App requests.
That's right. Yes.
I'm getting those daily.
It's like, Venmo, can you Venmo for this or that? But I think that's the best thing. My dad actually did that for me. And, I was fortunate that he paid for my college. And the day I graduated, he didn't give me one more dollar. Mm-hmm. And it was the best thing, and from marketing, and I want to hear your story because I know you didn't do college. From a marketing standpoint, you're not recruited with these big salaries. Like I was barely making any money. Mm-hmm. And as a matter of fact, my dad was an accountant. When I called him to tell him what they were offering me, he was like, I think you can get food stamps with that. And I'm like, maybe, but I got the job. Like, I'm excited. I have a job. But it was just had to work my way up. Mm-hmm. I knew right then if I wanted anything, and I said, Dad, well, okay, I mean, how am I going to put gas in my car? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And he's like, what are you doing on Saturday and Sundays? He's like, you work Monday through Friday. Yeah. So you might have to get a job on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. And the light bulb just went off and that gave me my drive. Yeah. So I think how you grow up, it shapes you, right? And so you knew early on, if I want lunch money, if I want those clothes, I've got to go earn it. Yeah. I don't need to worry about anybody else. I can be dependent on myself. Yeah. And create that. So, okay. So fast forward, you had these little jobs. What was kind of your first job where you're like, okay, I'm actually making money?
Ooh.
where you could pay bills and kind of more
I
independent.
kind of needed to start making, so I kind of upskilled when I was actually in high school.
Okay.
All of my friends were working at the McDonald's and the Burger King. And this was so long ago. It was like $5 an hour. And I was doing the math and just, the kid math where you don't like take in taxes and shit like that. And I was like, oh man, it's going to take way too long to make this money. So I actually got like my nurse aide and medication aide license when I was 15, 16. And so I started making a little bit of money when I was in high school and bought my first car. Just felt so good about myself. It felt so
in high school,
good and
you bought
liberating.
Your first car?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah, it was a 1989 Nissan Altima or Maxima, I forget what it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was a 5-speed.
I had a friend that had one like that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I kept it clean all the time. I was so
yeah.
proud of that thing. But it just kind of, so started that. And then one of my first jobs out of high school, I bounced around a little bit. One of like my first real jobs where I was making a little bit of money, I was selling cars. And so I was working at a Honda dealership. And
selling cars is tough.
It is tough.
I mean, they always say if you can go and sell cars, you can sell anything. Mm-hmm. So you already have a baby face right now. So I can just imagine what you look like in high school.
Yeah.
Getting out, they're like, wait, you're selling me a car?
Yeah, and it was a lot. It was a lot of that too, like having to, first of all, car salesmen just like have a negative connotation to begin with. So like you kind of have to overcome that. And then when people kind of think you're the scum of the earth as a used car salesperson. And so just like really realizing or learning how to overcome objections, like tenacity, like, and it was fun, like getting the win.
It's huge.
It was yeah.
You have that sales. I have that in me, that sales high, and there's nothing better than that.
Man,
walking in and getting a sale, and especially cars, you're turning quick. You don't have to wait 6 months, 9 months. It's usually you're on the lot, you want a car, and you can do the transaction quickly. And in your mind, you're like, I just made $2,000. I just made $3,000.
Right then, and it's instant, and you're like, oh my God, I'm hooked.
Yes, that is awesome. Yeah. Okay, so were you the only female that was selling?
Usually, yeah. And that's another thing too, is like, just also like overcoming that, proving your credibility too, to clients too. So yeah, mostly I was always the only woman, except for like in finance or something like that. But like on the lot, taking fresh ups, that was the only one.
and I can imagine the banter going back and forth with the guys.
Oh my God, yeah.
Here this girl is, and hopefully you're out selling them.
Yeah,
it sounds like you were.
Okay.
Yeah. So Honda dealership, and then did you work at any other dealership or did you stay there?
So I worked at a few other places, but I really kind of spent my career in the auto industry. When I moved here to Tulsa, I took a job selling Audi and, 4 rings. And that was fun. That was actually where I started my side gig that turned to my business that I grew and exited.
Okay, let's talk about that.
And so,
and how that came about.
Yeah. So we were, I was here, I was selling Audi. And when I moved here, I didn't really have a plan. I was actually like living in my best friend's parents' attic while I was getting myself settled. Yeah. So I was just hustling all the time.
Yeah.
And they took us to this training in Kansas City. And the training was all about like, how to spot like exporters, which an exporter is somebody that buys a brand new car and then sends it out of the country, sells it for a profit. The dealership didn't want that because they want a real customer. They want somebody that's going to refer their friends, come in and get it serviced, trade it in. And so they sent us to this like 2-day training on how to spot exporters and
to avoid them.
Yeah.
Which they're getting the sale. So,
yeah.
But it's not repeat sales, I guess.
Right.
I'm like, a sale's a sale.
Yeah.
I would think that they would be happy about that.
It's a whole nuanced thing.
But they probably know how to negotiate too. They're not your person coming off the street that's not educated on the process.
So when I had encountered like my first obvious exporter, I was like, hey, sorry, my manager's not going to let me sell you this car, but I can buy you coffee. And so anyway, just like super curious about what they were doing. And so I kind of like pulled that thread a little bit and met with this kid he was a kid. He was very obviously not a real buyer. He was like a college kid on campus, like trying to write a $150,000 check. And so it's pretty obvious what he was doing. And so I was like, hey, tell me about like this market. Like, tell me what you guys are doing. And I kind of started like my little side gig, and I bought a car and I made like $7,000 in
just like that.
Yeah. And I was like,
okay,
shit.
so you're buying the car and you're having it exported to overseas, wherever, like something they can't get.
Mostly China.
Right, because they can't get it?
No, they can get it. It's a whole thing. It's a myriad of things. But like basically there's a longer wait list. There's a higher tax on it. There's a high
for an American car or just any car?
Mostly like luxury cars.
Like a Mercedes or
Mercedes, Land Rover, Porsche, Maserati. Those are the kind of cars that I was buying. And so yeah, like you could live in China and go buy one of those cars if you wanted to wait a year and pay 2 to 3 times more. And then there's like a 75% tax on a used car versus 150% tax on a new car. So there was a huge gap and incentive to like buy these brand new $150,000 cars and sell them right next to this, $1.5 million Range Rover, but it's the exact same car and it's only maybe $400,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah. So
and you're like $7,000. Let's add that up.
Yeah.
Selling one a day.
Yeah. So it was just maybe, I don't know, I did that for like 4 months and then I had to quit my job because...
Yeah, you're like, I don't need to make this money. I'm over here doing this. Did they realize what you were doing?
Not at that point, but later they figured it out.
Because you come back in there to buy.
Yeah, and because like after you buy so many new Range Rovers, you can't buy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'd be like, hey, go in there and buy this car. I'll give you $5,000.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it was a whole thing.
Crazy. Okay, so did the kid that you met with... Did he teach you? Because obviously you'd have to have the connection.
Yeah.
Anybody could go buy the car, but who's actually taking it over there and how do they find a buyer over there?
Mm-hmm.
Did you just get it over there or did you have to find a buyer?
Yeah. So in the beginning, I was just buying them to sell to like this person. And eventually I grew the business to where I would sell directly to the used car dealer in China. So just like one by one, like kicking out all of these middlemen to like absorb more of that margin.
Now, is this person, did you ever meet them in person?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a relationship. It wasn't like anything, you don't know where it's going. You know this person, it's legit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did that for about 7 years. And yeah.
So what is a day in the life like during that time?
On your phone constantly, weird hours because of the time difference. And I was doing this, I started this business when I was in my 20s. So, if you can imagine going from making like $45,000 a year to sometimes making that in a month. So I was doing too much. I was having too much fun. I have a house manager who's been with me for about 10 years. She started as my nanny for my daughter. And she eventually just kind of became the person that was like, okay, no champagne. It's Wednesday morning, like chill. Yeah. She kind of started managing me.
I mean, to have that much money in your hands at that age, especially when you had to, you were working to get lunch money growing up. So you're like, I just hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
And you were obviously good at it.
Yeah. And that was the part that was fun. Was like,
talk about a sales high. Yeah. That's a sales high.
Yeah, that was fun. So
about 7 years of that. And then you kind of had to reflect on, okay,
yeah,
this is taking a toll on me. Maybe it's not the best.
Yeah, because I'm a single mom. And so just like traveling a lot, not really taking care of my body like I should have, living on like 5 hours of sleep for years. And I actually had like a mental health crisis that kind of forced me to look at everything. And I was like, you know what? I made more money than I ever thought I would make. It's really starting to affect how I show up in relationships and how I parent. And I'm like, I exited because I was like, it's just not worth the trade-off anymore.
How old was your daughter at this time? Like when you sold?
Let's see, she'll be 18. That was about 6 years ago. So yeah, she was about 12, 13.
And that's a critical age.
Yeah.
For a girl and just everything, the hormones and you need your mom at home and all of that.
Yeah.
So.
And I was like home, like I was not doing good. I was home like 7-8 days a month.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Priorities changed. You shift and I have just a similar story of chasing the money, going after the money, climbing the corporate ladder, doing the thing. And then all of a sudden I ended up having my son 12 weeks early. So I had like a little 2-pound, 9-ounce baby. So you definitely stops what you're doing.
It does
and
put
your
everything
world
in
is upside down. And I'm like, the money doesn't matter. This corporate job doesn't matter. I've got to take care of my son while he needs me and, all of that. So that, I think having that shift that's great. So you went a whole different direction.
Yeah, I know.
From that. So now you've got Poppi Spa and Silk Salon.
Yeah.
So talk me through kind of like the epiphany of going from, because that's go, go, go.
I know.
And if you have that personality, I have that personality. Like I used to, like cold calling, people hate cold calling. I love to walk in and cold call and get a sale and walk out.
Yeah.
Like that's, I'm energized by that. So how did you shift into wellness, into self-care?
Yeah. Well, after I sold my business, I tried to be a stay-at-home mom. And that did not work out. I just like, I tried to like do the thing. I tried to like, make the lunches and do the PTA. And it just like was soul sucking. I'm like, I don't have anything to talk to these people about. So I did that for a pathetic like 3 months, which was a good time to like just kind of take off and kind of chill. And was really focused on my own personal self-care and wellness journey. I was meditating a lot. And one of the things that I really, really loved to do in all of my travels, because I traveled all over the world, I really loved bathing culture and spas. And so I got to visit some of the best spas in the world. And after I decided that I couldn't be a stay-at-home mom, I was like, okay, well, what's next? I really love service. And I feel like I, especially like in the car business, like that was the part that was fun to me, that relational aspect. And so I wanted to pair like that with like having a more relaxing dynamic, like spa kind of atmosphere, because we had a couple of really nice places here in Tulsa, but they're all like, hair salons that you can also get a massage in, which isn't like a super relaxing.
Right.
So I built the kind of spa that I wanted to go to. So yeah.
Poppi's beautiful. I mean, you definitely feel the ambiance. I remember walking in right when it opened, and my husband and I were down there doing something, and we walked in, not to get a service. I was like, what is this all about? Like, I have to know. And I think your sister was working. Do you have a sister or was a friend? Yeah. Okay, and because it was a relative. And I was like, who's the owner? Like, I want to meet the owner. She's like, oh, she's not here right now or whatever. But I was like, you guys have done such a great job. Like this, you could just feel it when you walked in. It was different. It didn't feel like Tulsa, all those things.
Thank you.
And then I meet you years later. That was, I mean, how long ago did you launch?
It'll be 6 years in August.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Poppi's, you've got that going, and then you got into the hair business, right?
Yeah.
So Silk, let's talk about Silk, what it is.
So as you probably can appreciate, once we got to the point where everything was on autopilot and it wasn't a challenge anymore, I was like, okay, well, what's next? And so while I was in that what's next space, I used to really, really love getting blowouts. I wear my hair straight most of the time. And I had a great girl who was at one of these like big
Dry
box
bar.
blowout
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah.
And when she left, I realized that because I kept getting like just terrible service and just like a terrible blowout. And I left and I was like, oh, they don't know how to do my hair. She knew how to do my hair. And so just kind of like that trial and error of going through and like not feeling like any of the salons kind of wanted to learn or address textured hair like mine. I have natural hair, which means I don't chemically straighten it or treat it to make it straight. And so I was just like really annoyed that none of the nicer salons like even cared to learn how to bring in clients that looked like me. And so, or that, me and my friend had to go to 2 different salons before we could like, go for our girls' night or whatever. And so, really just kind of started to explore that a little bit more. And I love the hospitality, like hospitality is my lane now. And so, wanted to, kind of fold in some just really beautiful layers of experiential development. And so my sister's one of those girls who loves getting her nails done. Like she's at the salon and she's just like smiling and just like she's having a great time. And I'm one of those people that like, it's kind of a chore to me, It's something that I have to do. Like I have to have my hair and nails done. But if you make it like a fun little experience and a beautiful atmosphere, like I'm all about it.
Right. Well, and I think if your hair looks good as a female, you feel great.
Yeah.
Right. When I'm having a bad hair day, I'm like, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
I don't need to. We'll do a podcast where I hate my hair or something. And I'm like, I just feel
your
like
hair always looks great.
But
too.
It's one of those things like if your hair looks good, you feel good.
Yeah.
And just getting those services and all of that. So that's amazing. So how has it been so far? Because you just launched, right?
Yeah, we just opened in January. So just been focusing on, because the build out, I'm sure you can appreciate, but like it's always takes longer, always over budget. So we lost some of the stylists that were waiting on us to open. Right. So just been working on, just brand visibility and securing really amazing talent. And we've got a small team right now, but really, really talented.
That's great. And it'll just keep attracting more people and the word gets out, and all that. Let's talk about capital partners, because you've had a capital partner that's been great for you.
Yeah.
How did that relationship come about? What have they done for you? Just walk through, if there's somebody out there that wants to start a business, because a brick and mortar is expensive. And we talk about that a lot.
Don't recommend.
It is tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Right? You might spend $250,000, you might spend $500,000 on your build out, and then you've got to put money into marketing, and you need a website, and you need all these things. It's tough. Where an online business, you have a laptop, right? Your overhead is not nearly as much.
Yeah.
So walk me through, because there's people out there that they want to start a business, but they don't have $250,000. They don't know where to start. How did that conversation come about? How did you guys get that partnership?
Yeah. So that part was super challenging, especially because when I went to get funding for Poppi's, it was just really hard not to get laughed out of everywhere that I went for funding. I couldn't sell the fact that this girl who was selling cars now wants to, and never been in the business, never done anything adjacent, but I'm going to own a spa now. And so did not really have any success getting funders on board. So I was able to, thankfully, with the success of my other business, I had some assets that I could leverage. And so I was able to essentially self-fund for that first portion, which was not cheap.
Right.
All in all, I probably spent about $850,000, $900,000 for Poppi's. And but I was able to. I did a little refresh, and I wanted to work on my relationships. I developed a relationship with We Street Credit Union. They are doing some amazing things. I love what they're doing there. And also TEDC kind of helped me with a refresh at Poppi's. And it was really nice to get to work with them. I feel like they understood what I was doing, which was a world different from trying to explain before. And so it's like when you have partners who see you and you don't have to explain, what you like. You'll never be able to explain to somebody that doesn't get it or doesn't want to get it. And I feel like TEDC, they understood from the beginning, and they understand what I'm trying to do to just like raise the standard for Tulsa, but also for women.
And just offer a service that wasn't being offered.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also a huge need that wasn't being, met in the market.
Yeah.
I mean, from a business standpoint, that right there.
Yeah.
If you can solve a problem, they will buy,
Yes,
So
yes.
That's impressive. So for lack of, because I've never worked with, a capital partner or gotten funding. So how much say do they have? Like just down to the nitty gritty. Is it like, here's your money and now I'm going to meet with you, every month and I'm going to look over your P&L and I'm going to make sure, or is it like you are running the show, you get to run the show and they let you do your thing, or do they have their hands in it?
No, they're I don't know about like PE money or anything like that, but traditional institutions like banks, they really just want to be banks. And so I think like
as long as you're paying the note.
Yeah. I think they request like annual documents, but they're just like, just pay your bill. So
that's great. And it's great to have a partner that trusts you and you trust them. And, that's amazing what you've done. So I want to visit Entrepreneurs Organization again, because I talked a little bit about that. We met through EO.
Yeah.
So I'm a new member. I'm probably maybe 3 months in, brand new. I know you've been doing it for a few years. There's only a few women.
Yeah, we
you do
need
have
to
to
get
be
that up.
$1 million revenue business and be voted in and have your interviews and all that stuff. But, earlier when you said you're looking at people and you're like the stay-at-home mom, like, what am I going to talk to these people about? Like you're from a different world whenever you're running a business, you're, making the money you were making and just your priorities are different. You're not playing tennis all day.
Yeah.
It's a different level. So what has EO done for you? And, how has it kind of changed maybe your perspective?
Oh my God. So one of the most valuable things, so EO, just a little background for people who don't know what Entrepreneurs Organization is. It's a worldwide network. I think there's 250 chapters all over the world. It's a worldwide network of entrepreneurs, and there are local chapters, and we're a volunteer organization, a nonprofit. So we kind of like, we say carry your own bag. And so here in Tulsa, we kind of get to run our own show with some rules. But one of the values outside of this world wide network is this local chapter and the small groups that we have. Our small group, everyone is in a forum and we meet once a month, and it's a big commitment. It's like 6 hours every month of uninterrupted time that's like really really scheduled and organized in a certain way for you to get the most value out of it. But in these small groups in our forum, we have just people from all different industries. And what is similar is like we're all either founders or CEOs of these businesses that have to meet certain revenue requirements. And so we're dealing with similar issues, even though they might not be in a similar business or a similar segment, industry. But so being able to talk with friends who, and we have this code of we have this like privacy code where like what's in forum stays in forum. And so we can really get super vulnerable and talk about like, like if you're having issues like, hey, I'm trying to fund and I might not make payroll. It's hard to talk to your friends who have a regular job or get a W-2 every year. It's hard to like talk to them about things like that. Or like, I just closed this. I have a friend that just closed like a $10 million deal. Can't really talk to your friends about things like that. Right. So it's this really safe, secure space where we can be vulnerable and get into what we call the 5%, top 5%, and the bottom 5% of like just challenges, struggles, wins that we are dealing with. And so that's been super valuable for me. I've got in my forum, a guy who has a property management, a person that like owns restaurants and does development, and an engineer, a few engineers actually, tech startup. So like just like a breadth of just different experiences, and those have been so valuable.
All different walks of life. Yeah, which is, it has been, I've loved it. I mean, just, I've had 3 forums, I guess, so far, and just what you get out of forum, first of all, I'm never without my phone. I mean, to go 6 hours, not have your phone, not have emails, not have anybody, trying to get a hold of you, and just actually diving in and looking at your business, because we're go, 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 go. You don't step back and go, what was great over the last month? What is that 5% great? What did I need to, what terrible things happened that I need to, improve and get better on? So it is, I love the format. It's something that has been really great. So, and I've loved getting to know you and just, a lot of the women in there.
Yeah.
So, great. Well, if you're a woman out there, and what would be like your number one piece of advice if they want to start a business? What would you say to go do?
Don't. No.
Yeah, what not to do
it.
Yeah, don't do it. Or what not to do is easier to rattle off. It's so true.
I don't know. I try not to advise anybody, just because everyone's stories are so different. But, one thing that I tell my daughter is like, anything that you do, people will know you've done it. So make sure that like, you take pride in your work, and like, don't get into anything that you're not like super passionate about. Like I have had on the rare occasions where I did something that I thought I was supposed to do, or started, because I started obviously a few businesses that have failed. And every time when it wasn't like true to who I am, like my why, it just did not work out. So, like you alluded to earlier, like there is not so much time freedom. There is time flexibility, I think, in entrepreneurship. Like, you're going to work 12-hour days. So make sure it's something that you're enjoying.
So true. I mean, I think, I'm similar in the sales front, because I've always loved sales. But I'm really great at selling my stuff. But I've taken on a couple of clients where they're like, oh, is there any way you could sell, like, just do this big deal for me or whatever? And I, every time I do that, I'm like, yeah, I can do it, and maybe get a percentage. I'll go in there and I'm not feeling it. It's not me. And also I can't deliver.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it comes across too.
And I don't know if I sell this big deal for you, I get the commission, I leave. Are you going to do a good job for them? I know if I sell it.
Yeah, because you take ownership of that.
It's right. And I think that's the difference where it clicked for me. I was like, I just got to sell my own stuff. I'm better at that. I know what we deliver on. I can't sell something that I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't done it myself. I don't have the experience with a testimonial from somebody, a case study. It's like, it makes it, more difficult. So diving into something you love, I think is super important. So what's a day in the life like right now for you? Like, are you going into Poppi or Silk every day? Or
So I don't work at the spa. I meet with my manager once a week. And that's really nice, because I lived there for 3 years. Like, I remember actually like sleeping there a couple of times because I'm just like, all right, I'll have to be here in 5 hours anyway. So, but so that Poppi's is in a really good place. I work at the Salon a few days a week, just because we just opened, and because I like to have that client interaction early on, so you can course correct or just like learn insights. And I am crazy. I'm working on another project right now, so I'm spending a lot of time. I can't work in the space because I'm so ADHD, but I have a little office that I work out of, and I'm working on a new concept.
I can't wait to hear. Unrelated or related?
Unrelated. I mean, it's in the same like wellness. Vein. So yeah.
Tell me about your wellness routine personally.
Yeah. So I try to meditate every day. I have my like little morning ritual and I have my evening ritual. And in the morning, so my daughter's in this weird schedule. And my daughter's one of those kids that you've read about who like doesn't care about the things that we cared about.
Yes.
Like I made her go and get her driver's license because she doesn't care about that. She doesn't care about like, going to prom, all that stuff. So anyway, so I drop her off at school, but in the morning I wake up, I have to work out. Like I go to the gym. I'm also one of those toxic people that can lift for 2 hours and then just walk right past the cardio. Like no time for you. So I'll work out for a couple hours and then I eat my breakfast. And then I take my daughter to school, go to work. In the evening times, I'll do my little walk, and then I do my little evening ritual with my skincare and my meditation, a little 20-minute journal kind of thing. But
do you have a meditation app you use? Or
I do, but right now I'm really on this kick about like this. There's this album that I listen to from one of my favorite rappers of all time, and it's
Biggie. Who is it?
Yeah, Andre 3000.
Okay.
But he has this album that's like literally just like frequencies and flutes.
Wow.
I'll send it to you.
Send me that.
I'll send it to you. It's cool. It's like everybody was up in arms about it, but it's really great. It's and he's got some funny titles on it. So I'll just like listen
and
to
music helps, I think, because it's like you think of meditation, you're in silence. And I've done some of that where you're, adoration, you go and you sit and you're, for an hour of just silence.
You can meditate for an hour?
It's tough. No, you have to kind of work up to it. But I think music,
That's good.
Music helps, get it going where you're like, okay, you can... I don't know, just get in a flow easier with that. Yeah. Okay, I want to know about lifting, 2 hours lifting. Do you do your own stuff? Do you have a trainer? How do you know what to do?
My like workout time is it's just for me. I don't even like when I see people at the gym, friends that I know, like, I don't want to talk to you. Love you, but like this is my me time. So I have a little regimen and I rebuild my regimen every 4 months. So I just do the same thing I will have like my, I lift
like it's back, it's like upper body day and then lower body day and whatever. And you're just following something online.
Yeah. Well, not online. I build it. I'm kind of intense
Look at you
when it comes to that, but because I know what I want to focus on and what I'm good at and stuff like that. So
see, I work out in the morning too, and I've always been a class person. Like I have to show up with a trainer, tell me what to do with a group of people, because I don't want to think. Like I already have to think too much in my life, so I just want to show up and tell me. Yeah, I would love a trainer just one-on-one. I would love that because I don't care about the chat part either in the morning. I mean, it's 5 in the morning, so just coming in and getting it done. Yeah. But once you get used to that, your body feels so great. Like the days, I'm doing this big detox crazy thing right now where I can't do cardio. And I would rather do cardio all day and not do weights. So I do weights because you have to and whatever. But so I'm just doing weights right now. I'm not doing any cardio because it's like I haven't had carbs in 5 weeks. So it's a rough I think I get them. I think I get them on Thursday.
My God.
It's like an elimination.
You need carbs.
I know you need carbs, and I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm not trying to do anything. It's like an elimination diet where you take things away, and it's kind of more like inflammation to see what's inflamed in your body, and then you bring foods back in.
Don't talk to me if I don't have any carbs.
I'm cranky. I mean, I don't know if my staff over there is thinking, but I get super cranky if I don't, because I've worked out 5 or 6 days a week for 25 years. Like, always.
Yeah.
Even if I'm sick, I'm like going to walk.
Yeah.
Like, I do not like not moving my body. Your bodies are meant to move. But I want someone to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to, and I could easily go do a workout. I've done it so long. I could easily do, but am I going to be working that hard when someone's not looking at me going, you know, do more? It's impressive.
I'm one of those people. So like, I'll build my regimen, and I know on Monday, every day, every week for 4 months, I know on Monday it's back and biceps, and these are the movements I'm going to go through. And when I'm at my best, I actually journal. I progressive overload, so I'll journal like, okay, well, I did this many reps, this many sets, and then the next week I'll push for an extra rep or
okay, so you go back and look, and last week I did this week
because that way I'm not having to think of like, okay, well, so I'm gonna do this movement and this movement. Like, I don't have to think about it. Like, I know it's Monday, these are the movements I'll do.
And it's such a mental thing. I don't know if it is for you. Like, for me, working out is mental. I love the physical benefits, you know, as I've gotten older, but really, if it's mentally, it gets my mind right.
Yeah. Everybody's talking about like summer body and getting summer ready, but like, I'm in the gym so I can have my independence when I'm 80. Like,
you're right.
Yeah. So
if you you see people all the time, they have a ton of money, you know, they've made all this money and done their thing, and they don't have their health. You have nothing.
Man, nothing.
You're not traveling.
All,
You're not doing anything.
Prisoner in your own body. That's like my worst nightmare.
So morning routine, important. Get up, do your thing. Okay, so tell me about nutrition. Do you follow like a strict nutrition schedule?
Yeah, I'm not super strict, but I do plan ahead of time. I do meal prep just because I'm sure you know, like, our lives are crazy during the week. So like every Sunday I will prepare like I'll prepare my little breakfast, or I have a salad every day for lunch. And so, and then I just prepare my meals. I have like a little protein goal, and I have like my daily macros. I'm not super strict about tracking that stuff. It's the whole like 80-20 concept. So if I'm on the ball 80% of the time, then I can have a double cheeseburger, no big deal. So,
and I think that protein is what most women lack, right? You're not eating nearly enough protein. And if you go out to dinner, you know, you get the salad and they'll bring the little 3 chicken strips on the top. I'm like, I need 3 times that. Like, honestly, you know, to hit your protein goals. So that's great. I think, and you know, if you're going to get some gains, you got to have a little protein, which is awesome. Well, when is the time in your life that you've just done it your way? You've blocked all the pressure and the noise from around you, and you said, I kind of feel like your whole life is that, which I love. But when in life have you been like, I'm doing it my way?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it has been like my whole entrepreneur journey. I like to say I didn't like choose this life. It chose me. I just was not a good fit for a lot of, I was like bouncing around looking for what I was supposed to be doing, what, you know, I was supposed to be doing in the eyes of my parents and my friends and my peers. And I just did not have a lot of success there. And so once I decided to do it my way, to like, you know, build this like crazy random export business and then try to be a stay-at-home mom, and then try to build a spa when I have like no background. I feel like all of those instances were me like doing it my way, and the success and the happiness and the contentment that I was able to get through being satisfied with what I chose myself, just amazing. So
there's nothing better than that. So, well, thank you so much for your time today. I've loved getting to know you through EO, and just I can't wait to see what the next little project you have going.
Yeah, I appreciate
That's pretty fun.
you. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the Do It My Way podcast. If you're wanting to build a personal brand, but you aren't sure where to start, I want you to book a discovery call with me at deidredetterman.com. I hope you are empowered today to do business on your terms with no regrets, hesitation, or fear. Again, head over to deidredetterman.com and click on Get a Quote.